Sankashtahara Chaturdhi Vrath Kathas. One day the sages worshipped Kumaraswamy until he was pleased and requested this: Bhagwan, in Kalyug people commit sinful acts and as a result suffer from death, childlessness, lack of housing, chronic diseases, poor education, lack of money, enmity, obstacles in work, lack of development, poor ripening of crops, non-marriage, lack of reconciliation between spouses, etc. They suffer many hardships like experiencing royal punishment. Is there any vrath that could be performed to get rid of that mental distress? Then Kumaraswamy was pleased and said, I will teach you the Sankashtahara Chaturdhi Vratha, the most powerful of all vratas. In one kalpa, Parvati, the daughter of Imavan, after doing penance with devotion to seek Lord Shiva as her husband, couldn't attain fulfillment. Then she remembered Heramba Ganapati, who had been born to her in her previous incarnations. Ganapati was pleased and instructed his mother to perform this vrata. After performing, Umadevi became the wife of Lord Parmeshwar. Now listen to the process of the vrata. This vrata should be started in any month on Bahula Chaturdhi, fourth day of Purnima of that month. Bahula Chaturdhi of every month is called Sankashtahara Chaturdhi. If it falls on Tuesday, it's very special and auspicious, called Angaraka Chaturdhi or Bauma Chaturdhi. On Sankashtahara Chaturdhi day, wake up before sunrise on that day, take bath with black sesame seeds in water, perform the daily rituals like Sandhya Vandanam, daily puja, etc. Vowing to perform the Sankashtahara Chaturdhi Vrath, take a red cloth, put in front of Ganapati, put a pinch of turmeric and kumkum in it. Pour 3 fists of rice in it, 2 dry dates, 2 vakkas and betel leaves. Tell your desire of the heart to the Lord and tie it. It is called Mudupu. You should circumambulate it to Lord Ganapati 21 times. Do not take food all morning, only milk and fruits. However, patients, pregnant, etc., people don't do upavasam. Eat as usual. Try to maintain silence and do Ganapati Namam in your mind. After sunset, take a bath, light a lamp and perform Sri Sankashtahara Chaturdhi Vrata. Make sweet pongali and kudmulu using the morning mudupu rice and offer to the Lord. If any guest arrives on that day, luckily consider them as Ganesha's form and offer prasadam and food. On previous night and that night, one should observe brahmacharyam and make sure that the mind doesn't get lost in worldly matters. If you do this, your wishes will be fulfilled quickly. 12 times this vrata will get the vrata siddhi. If you can do Ganapati Omam on the next day, it will be even better. Story of Sage Brushundi. One day Sage Narada, who was travelling in the sky, saw Kumbhipaka hell. Who is inside? Brushundi Maharshi's parents, his wife and daughter from his previous ashram were seen there. They are all going through hell. Narada, who was moved by their sufferings, immediately came to Buloka and went to the sage Brushundi, who was doing penance there. O Maharshi, your wife, daughter and parents are suffering terribly in Kumbhipaka hell in your farmer home. It is not dharma to do penance like you do as if it doesn't matter. Make appropriate compensation so that their sufferings will go away and their virtues will be restored. He said and left. Hearing Narada's words, Brushundi was very distressed. He remembered his previous life. It was because of their cooperation that he became a penitent today. And he resolved to alleviate their suffering in any way possible. He meditated on his favorite deity Ganapati, taking the holy water with his hand and thinking that he should shower the merit he got by doing the Sankashtahara Ganapati Vrath in the past. O Ganesha, if I have performed your Divya Chaturdhi Vrata with devotion, may my parents, along with them my wife and daughter, be freed from the sufferings of hell. He left the water. In the vratas he performed to Ganesha in the past, with just the result of a single vrat, his parents, wife and daughter all wore divine bodies, climbed the divine plane and reached the world of Ganesha. Now you can guess the results of doing this vrat every month. Narrative of a prostitute. One day when Indra was going to heaven in his Viman, a man who had committed many sins noticed the plane flying in the sky. As soon as his vision was infected, the plane descended and came to a halt on the ground. Surasenu, The king of that country, who was surprised by the wonderful light of Indra's plane, came out and looked at the miracle in amazement. Maharaja, who was very happy to see Indra, he asked the reason why the plane was stopped there. Then Indra said, "O king, the plane stopped midway as the vision of the most sinful person in your kingdom fell." Then that king humbly asked how the stopped plane will take off again. Then Indra said, "Today is Panchami, yesterday is Chaturdhi. Whoever fasted till evening yesterday and performed Sankashtahara Chaturdhi Vrath, my plane will take off again. If I can get the result of their Vrath." All the soldiers searched the whole kingdom together, and not one of them could be found who had fasted on the previous day and performed Vrath. At the same time, a messenger of Ganesha came and was seen carrying the dead body of a prostitute. The soldiers immediately asked why they were taking her to Ganesha's world after committing many sins and ruining many lives. Ganesha's messenger said, "She fasted all day yesterday. She did not eat anything without knowing it. She bowed down to Lord Ganesh after the moon rose. Thus, she did the Sankashtahara Chaturdhi Vrath without knowing it. Today she died. Whether she does it knowingly or unknowingly, this Vrath takes to a very high position. Anyone who does this Vrath once in their lifetime will reach Ganesha Loka after death." Then king's soldiers requested if they could get the holy result of the woman's previous day's Ganesha Vrata to take off Indra's plane. Ganesha's messenger did not agree to give them the fruit of her virtue. In the meantime, the wind that blew over her body blew where the plane had stopped, and Indra's plane took off immediately. This is an anecdote that tells how much the Vrath is effective. The story of Kritaviryu. In the past, there was a mighty king. He was all virtuous. His wife Mahapativrata, Sugunavati, like her husband, was a lover of good deeds. No matter how much time passed, the pious couple did not have any children. No matter how many sacrifices they perform, how many holy rituals they perform, there was no result. One day, Kritaviryu, who was very disappointed, left the burden of the kingdom to the ministers and went to forests with his wife. There he started doing penance with strict initiation. He continued his penance by abstaining from food with sense restraint and eating only the leaves that fell from the top of the trees. So many years have passed, the king's body was trapped. One day, Narada, who was wandering in the sky, felt sorry for the king's condition and went to Pitraloka and met Kritaviryu's father. He told the sufferings of his son, knowing that his son was suffering from childlessness through Narada. Kritaviryu's father went to Brahmaloka and bowed down to Chaturmukha Brahma, saying, "Lord, my son is all virtuous, generous. He performed many yagnas and vratas. He is a compassionate person who treats people like his own children. What is the reason why such a son of mine does not have children? What sin did he commit? What can I do to remove my son's sin and make him fertile? Please tell me," he prayed humbly. Then Lord Brahma said this to the father of Kritaviryu: "Your son was named Samu in his previous birth. He was extremely wicked. One day he was greedy for money and killed 12 Brahmins who were Satviks and robbed them of their wealth and prasadam that they were carrying. That whole day he did not find time to eat anything. He reached home in the evening with the stolen money. That day was Sankashtahara Chaturdhi. At the time of moonrise, coming home, Samu called his son Ganesha and ate the looted prasad with his son. Samu died some years later. Going home at dusk, calling his son Ganesha several times and eating Lord Ganesha's prasad with his son gave him immense merit. After some time, he was born as your son in the earth with the name of Kritaviryu. Even though he was doing many pious deeds, he has not been blessed with children in this life due to the sin of killing good people in his previous life." Hearing those words, Kritaviryu's father was very sad and said, "Father, if there is any way to get rid of my son's sin of Brahmahatya, please suggest me," he prayed. Then Lord Brahma said, "If he performs the Sankashtahara Chaturdhi Vrata, all his sins will be destroyed." Then Kritaviryu's father conveyed this matter to his son through Narada and performed that vow, and Kritavira became a father. This is a glorious vrata which melts even the hardened prarabdha like camphor. These stories convey profound spiritual secrets in cryptic form. Anyone who performs this vrata will go to Ganesha's world at the end of his life and experience great happiness there due to the blessings of the Lord Sri Ganesha. Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha.